So moving on to the native apps route. These only became possible just under a year ago. So the only way until May 2011 to do AR on mobile was through the browser. But now we can deliver native apps with full AR functionality. And of course that's an attractive proposition. This is a screenshot from some work we did for Marston's Beer, which was a standalone app that we did along with an online app, in fact, in October of last year. The advantages that we got up there, well, the customer journey is a branded experience. So you're saying to the customer, go to the App Store, download Hobgoblin app. So very simple, very direct. Secondly, as I've mentioned, the disadvantage of the browser route with going the standalone app route is you can deliver the highest quality and the highest engagement of AR experience through the native app route. Brands obviously got 100% control of what the consumer is seeing, where they're seeing it, and how they're seeing it. They're easily updatable, which is very key, and certainly something I would advocate to any of you who are talking with clients or talking with brands who are thinking about AR. Try and think of it not as a one-off campaign. Try and think of it as how will these campaigns, as in any marketing really, where's the campaign history going to go? Because that's the way you'll get cost effectiveness out of AR. Take the Royal Mail example that I showed you, for example. We built that campaign for a startup cost of about 15 grand. We then did 4 other campaigns and they only cost about 3 or 4 grand each campaign to get to. So when they were originally faced with 15 grand for the first campaign, they said, well, that sounds a bit expensive. But by the time they'd done 4 campaigns for 25, suddenly becomes a whole different cost structure to them. So think about the future, think about not just doing the first app, but what can we do then? Because certainly going the native app route, very easily updatable to put new content in to deliver a new experience. So think multi-campaign when you're thinking of starting with an AR app. And also, very crucially, because again we get approached with this a lot, we don't have to build a new app to do it. We can, obviously, but it can be integrated into an existing app, which again could be fundamental. If the brand isn't thinking of delivering a new app at this time and they've already got one that they're happy with, we can actually put that into an existing app. So again, potentially a more cost-effective route for the app to get their own, for the brand to get their own app delivering a high-quality AR experience. Disadvantage, well, the key one comes down to cost. There was a terrifying cost that was put up here for AR 3D, and I think he was talking a very high-level experience. They are going to be more costly than going the browser route generally because you've got to build apps around it, and you generally, when we get asked now, we're building Apple app and Android app as well. Having said that, we can get a 3D animated AR experience, an Apple app and an Android app at 15 grand at the base level. So it's not a 6-figure investment to get there. Obviously, the more complex the content in terms of the content build, you could be starting to get up to bigger numbers. But it's not a huge investment to get in and do it in the native app route. But going to be more costly than going a pure browser route generally. AR is far more than just holding your phone up and seeing something happen on your screen. A really personalised marketing experience where the consumer was building their own track, where the shape of the cans were being used to translate that into the racetrack on the screen, where that track could then be shared with friends as well, where you could have the facilities of things like online leaderboards for a competitive example, for longevity within the promotion as well. So a whole involved promotion using AR as an innovative and new way of delivering that type of experience. So we have mobile AR experience, we have a promotional win, we have social media links. So really here we're starting to see how mobile AR can be integrated across most, if not all, of the marketing disciplines to really produce an integrated campaign. I think the one thing I would say is certainly in this is at the moment we are, I suppose, in some ways a bit beset by the problems that other people have had within mobile, where I would feel that we're not actually involved early enough in the campaign process. Because undoubtedly AR will work at its best when it's integrated into the whole campaign, and then we can look to identify how the technology can really deliver and give a new dimension to that campaign. At the moment, we're still a bit in the field of, all right, we need to add something on the end. Is it mobile? Is it AR? And then it sort of might be slightly too late to maximise the experience. But it certainly is that now we can deliver an experience that's integrated into the rest of the marketing mix, and therefore a far richer and hopefully more commercially successful experience. And then moving on to retail and the use in retail. This is an interesting experience which happened in Macy's only last Christmas. So an opportunity for consumers to interact with animated characters in real time. And then moving on, and I think where we see, and we're very excited about tablets, is not at the moment from the consumer end, but from the business end, and certainly from the retail perspective, from shows and exhibitions, where up until iPad 2, to deliver AR in a retail environment or a show environment, you'd be looking at putting in a kiosk, speccing that up with processor and graphic, and then you'd always have the challenge, of course, of getting the consumer to the kiosk, getting them to actually interact with the kiosk and integrate it. Now, that's all been washed away because mobile AR can be delivered in these scenarios through staff with tablets, again, either in the exhibition environment or in the retail environment. An obvious example of this is a place like car dealer showrooms, for example, where people like Audi have done kiosks in the past. No one from Audi here I don't think they were particularly successful, but again, because you've always got the barrier of getting the consumer to the kiosk to use the kiosk. But now you can have a fully integrated sales process, which either features on the car in the showroom, where the salesman would walk around with the tablet and delivering the digital content in a very staged way, probably scripted by head office, in fact. Or indeed, if the car is not available, which is not an uncommon scenario in the country, to start pre-selling the car, can use any sort of visual trigger within the showroom and again give a full 3D model of the car, have the capability of changing the colours of the car, changing the trims of the car, even down to the hubcaps, see the safety issue, the safety features of the car. So all of that sort of thing can be done. And then you can start to see how within a retail environment, using tablet, you can get a very interactive, engaging experience and a high sales experience as well through it. Just stop it there because I think that first one's an interesting one because again that's another potential use of AR in terms of a sort of customer service, customer information type delivery, where we've already had a few inquiries about this where some sort of technology, like think of a Sky HD box where a consumer is looking to install that. Will they read the manual? Almost certainly not. Do they want to go away to a PC somewhere else and do it? They don't have to. Either through a mobile or through a tablet, they can literally point it at the hardware box. That image can be recognised, and then they can have a step-by-step instruction to get them through the installation process. And in fact, again, this could be used in lots of other non-consumer related sectors. You think of the medical sector, you think of the defence sector, and all those areas where installation or following of a specific process can be done very easily through AR. I just want to have a quick word about that furniture example that you saw there, because again, that's another potential use, I think, of the technology, where on mobile, where AR could be used as a sort of trial mechanism. So you're thinking of furniture, for example, where you could have the fully functioning app within the retail environment, where consumers could take a picture of their own front room. There'd be 3D models of the furniture actually within the app itself. They could drop that 3D model into a picture of their front room to see for the first time what that new potential purchase would look like in their front room. And certainly using that type of application, what we're looking at and what we're thinking of is where mobile is used as a quick and dirty trial, as it were, for the consumer to do that. They then go into the retail environment and either on a big screen or perhaps even on a tablet, they get a richer experience of again, looking at the new furniture by just taking in a picture of their own front room and then really getting into the sales process from there. So mobile integrated with an online app with higher level of functionality could deliver a sort of pre-trial phase for a consumer in a purchase process. So just really summing up some of that and just a few things to take away from that. Firstly, and from my point of view critically, not all augmented reality engines are the same, either in terms of the browsers or the engines themselves. Now what I mean by that is there is quite a well-known mobile AR browser out there where you have to have quite a thick black line around your visual image in order for the tracking technology within that app to be able to pick up the image and track the image. So again, don't think they're all the same. So please don't just contact 2 or 3, pick the lowest price and say we'll go with that. because as well as the tracking technology, in terms of the way that content is delivered onto the screen is different engine by engine. And secondly, from a cost perspective, the engines and the browsers are remarkably different. And I'll give you a scale of that, for example. There are some of the AR mobile engine providers who charge up to about 10,000 euros license fee for an app, and there are others which are very good quality mobile engines which are completely license free. So again, there is a lot of diversity in terms of A, the experience, and the B, of cost of delivering that to a brand or client. So it's not all the same. Secondly, and key, I suppose, more specifically in the AR browser as against native app argument, is how and where should your brand appear? Start at the basics. How does a client or brand see themselves? And from then, that might start to inform the decision of which route they might go within mobile AR. And then the second step would be to look at the sort of experience, the level of engagement they're looking at, because that will also qualify which route they might go. And then thirdly, and again, I don't think this has really been done to its full in any way, shape or form, and I would absolutely say what you've seen here today is very, very much the start point of mobile AR. This is not the end of the story. There is a lot more places for it to go, and really, we need to, people like myself and the development community in AR need to engage better with the brands and with the clients, because if we can get in at the earliest stage of the campaign planning, we can come up with far more interactive and engaging experiences, and that is where augmented reality will really have its value in marketing terms. And then that sort of goes into that last point there that we're desperately trying to push to be involved earlier, because then we can actually have much more of a commercial effect in terms of driving sales or profitability. But can it drive profitability? Yes, it definitely can. I mean, I'll give you an example using location-based services where, as we saw one of the slides earlier on in the day, where that's being used big time in the States and where mobile is being used big time is in coupon provision. One of the big coupon providers out in the States is called Valpak. To date, they deliver 40 million packs of coupons per month to households. They have now gone on to mobile AR so that a consumer, similar to the eBay example, can just hold their phone up, scan round and see any Valpak coupon provider within their environment. So it is not too far and too much of a step of logic to get to the position where they will soon be in a position to save sending out of 40 million packs of vouchers a month. So what sort of effect will that have on their profitability? And then finally, in terms of, I put a huge opportunity. This is the hugest number that I found available on the web. So do I think it's true? I don't know, is the honest example, because this is a massive number. From a very reputable source, Juniper Research, but they are saying by 2015, it could be a $1.5 billion market. And that is just mobile AR, which does seem a huge number to me, but that's what they're saying. Interestingly, their research from a year ago was valuing mobile AR at 800 million. So they have doubled their prediction over the last 12 months because of all the activity that's going on within this field. Still a lot further to go, but a lot still happening. And then the final slide, and I thought someone may have mentioned this and taken my thunder on this, but I'm sure some, if not most of you, may have seen this. But although this isn't mobile phone and this isn't tablet, this is a mobile experience, and this is the latest in AR from Google. So all of that through a pair of glasses that you wear. Now, is that going to happen? And when's it going to happen? God knows. Don't ask me, would be the question for that. But having said that, we are looking at, for example, sort of ways around that to deliver not just the location-based services that are incorporated into the Google goggles, Project Glass, whatever they like to call it now. But we're looking at maybe lashing together something like a tablet and spectacles and delivering an AR experience through that in a service-type environment. So an example would be, for example, a car mechanic or a military mechanic or any mechanic really, where they'd be fixing a motor or an engine or a higher-priced piece of equipment. And then again, using the sort of printer example that you saw on tablet, where through the tablet doing the processing power, the AR experience, the visualization of the maintenance or the operative's role could be visualized through the glasses, and then they could then go step by step through the maintenance process, again, without any need for a manual, without any need to go away to a PC at all. So not quite as slick as that with just a pair of glasses, but actually delivering a really high level of commercial benefit. Because if you think of the cost of a service mechanic, for example, making a mistake fitting or refitting a part of a BMW engine, could be thousands of pounds. And yet they can almost do it in a fail-safe route using augmented reality delivered through spectacles with some sort of processing power harnessed to them. So possibilities for that, certainly. Whether it goes that far, we will see. And glasses replace the mobile phone. But I thought I'd share it with you, a quick vision of the future. And that's all. Any questions, please?